Hello everyone, this is Arun. Welcome to another video. This is the second video in the tutorial series where we take a look at what happens behind the scenes in HDFS when we work with Apache Hive. So if you haven't watched the first video, do check that out. I'll leave a link to that in the description. So in this video, what we're going to do is we're going to load the data from HDFS into Apache Hive. And in the first video, what we did was we loaded data from the local file system into Apache Hive. Again, all the links to the GitHub repo, different softwares that you need, everything has been included. The DDL operations in Apache Hive, DML and SQL operations in Apache Hive. Also, a link to a free course in Udemy about Hadoop. All right, in this video, what we're going to do is we're going to load data into HDFS, create the database in Apache Hive, create tables in Apache Hive, load the data from HDFS into Apache Hive tables. Then we're going to drop the tables and drop the database. At each step, we're going to check what is happening behind the scenes in HDFS. Okay, so when I create a database, what happens in HDFS? When I load the data from HDFS into Apache Hive tables, what happens in HDFS? All right, I'll include the HDFS commands, Hive commands, everything in the GitHub repo. All right. Now there are two different ways of loading the data. One is append data and one is overwrite data. Append data, what happens is that it's going to append the data into the table, so it's not going to overwrite. If there is data already existing, it's just going to append the data again into the table. Override is it's going to override the existing data in the table. So the main difference is you'll add this keyword overwrite if you want to overwrite the existing data. Okay. All right. So the last video we did everything in the command line. This time we're going to do some of the steps in the Ambari console and then some of the steps in the command line. Okay. All right. I have my Hadoop sandbox running. So if you don't, so go ahead and start your Hadoop sandbox. And once you're done with that, navigate to 127.0.0.1:8080. This is the Ambari login page. Username is Maria_dev. Password is Maria_dev. Maria. All right. I'm going to log into the command line as well. So HTTP log. Again, the host is Maria_dev at 127.0.0.1. Port is 2222. Open. And the password is Maria_dev. I'm going to keep this open. We're going to see what happens. Okay. Now in the Ambari console, what I want you to do is go to the files view. And this is the HDFS. This is HDFS files. Okay. And you can see, you have a directory called user. Click on that. And you will see a directory called Maria_dev. Okay. So this is the home page for Maria_dev. So in the command line, you are in the home page, home directory of Maria_dev, and in the Ambari console, so you're in the home directory. Okay. Now I want you to go ahead and create a new folder, HRMS. Add. Okay. Now let's go to the command line and see what happened in HDFS. HDFS DFS -ls. As you can see, a new directory has been created. All right. Now go to the directory and I want you to upload the files. So I have the files here. So we'll be using two files, departments.txt and employees.txt. Okay. Drag and drop. And one more. Okay. Now let's go back to the command line and see what happened. All right. So when you loaded data using Ambari console, the files has been loaded into the HDFS. So now the rest of things, let's do that in the command line. Okay. And then we'll see what happens in the Ambari console. All right. So you can learn to use both Ambari console and the command line. All right, I have the commands handy here. So we already created the directory, we loaded the files. Okay, now we're going to log into Hive. Okay, so let's do Hive. This is going to take a few seconds. Okay, all right, now let's go ahead and create this database. Create database HRMS. All right, let's type show database. You can see a new database called HRMS has been created here. HRMS. Okay, and behind the scenes what it did, let's go to the Ambari console and see. Okay, now I want you to go back to the root directory and click on apps, Hive, warehouse. You'll see a new folder, hrms.db, has been created. Okay, so when you issue the command to create a database in the command line, if you navigate to apps, Hive, warehouse, you'll see a new directory called hrms.db has been created. Okay, let's keep this open. Okay, so I navigated into the hrms.db directory. All right, now let's use this database to create the tables. All right, so I'm going to create two tables, one for employees, one for departments. All right, and then go ahead and create departments table. Okay, now let's go back to the Ambari console and see if anything happened. So let's refresh. So you can see when I created the tables in the command line, what it did is it created two different directories, employees and departments. So nothing in the folder, nothing in the departments folder. Okay, so let's go to employees directory, and then what we're going to do is we're going to load the data from into the employees table. So this is the command, load data in path. All right, load data in path. Now this is the HDFS location where the file is placed. Okay, let's execute the command. Okay, so the data has been loaded. Now let's go back to the Ambari console and see what happened. Let's refresh. You can see that the data has been loaded into this directory. So hrms.db employees, and inside that directory we have employees.txt. So you can click and let's say open, and you can see the data, right? Okay, all right, now what's interesting about this is, let's go back to the root directory, right? And then let's go to user, Maria_dev HRMS. You'll see that the employees.txt file is no more there in the HRMS directory. So what happened? All right, so let me explain about that. So behind the scenes, I want you to know that behind the scenes, Hive uses Hdfs. Hive sits on top of Hdfs. So for storage, it's going to use Hdfs. Okay, so this was our first scenario where we created a new directory and loaded the data, employees.txt and departments.txt, into the Hdfs directory, right? Now, so this is Hive, Hdfs, we don't have anything, right? So what happens is, when you load the data from the original location in Hdfs, that is moved to a location which is managed by Hive. Okay, so this location is managed by Hive. Now, why does it move? Why doesn't it just not copy the data, right? Copying means you'll have duplicate data existing in Hdfs. Now, when we talk about small files, it may be okay, but we're talking about big data and Hadoop, so the files could be, gigabytes or, petabytes of files, right? So if you copy, you'll have the same data file existing in two different directories, which is not good, so it is duplicated. So for efficient storage, it is moved from the old location or the original location to the new location, which is managed by Hive. I hope you understood that. Now let's go back to the command line and load the departments.txt. Okay, so now we're going to take a look at what happened here. User Maria _ dev HRMS, and you'll see that the departments.txt file also doesn't exist anymore in the original directory. Now let's go to the directory which is managed by Hive. So apps, Hive, warehouse, HRMS.db, departments. You'll see that the new file, departments.txt file, is available there. Now let's go ahead and do a select star from departments. Okay, you can see the data here. Let's do a select star from employees. You'll see the data here. So the data has been loaded into Hive. Now let's go ahead and delete the data. So what we're going to do is we're going to use this command, drop table employees. Right, now let's go to hrms.db. You'll see that when we dropped the table employees, it removed the directory and it also removed the actual file. So the file doesn't exist in Hdfs anymore. Okay, so keep that in mind. Be careful when you issue drop commands. Okay, now let's go ahead and drop the departments table. All right, now let's refresh. You'll see that that's also gone. Now let's go to the warehouse directory. You'll see that hrms.db exists. Now we're going to drop the database itself. Now let's go ahead and refresh. All right, you'll see that the database, when we drop the database, it removed the hrms.db directory as well. I just wanted to show you what happens when you load data from Hdfs into Hive, how the data is loaded, the different directories that are being created, what happens when you drop the directory, when you drop the table, when you drop the database, etc. I hope this is clear to you. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comment section. I'll be happy to answer those. Do check out the first video, because in that video I show how to load the data using command line. So you can use the same commands, almost the same commands. And in this, I'll load this file into the GitHub repository, so you have access to this file and you can follow along, use these commands. All right, guys, that's all I had for today. And I'll see you in the next one. In the next video, we're going to talk about mostly about partitioning, and we'll try to talk about internal and external tables. All right. Cheers. Bye-bye.